We are going on a new journey. This is Norway, the land of incredible fjords, massive glaciers, countless waterfalls, endless curvy roads, and the longest hike trails. We will trek over 20 kilometers to see Trolltunga, lose a drone in the largest glacier of Europe, and dive into the highest waterfall. Plus, I'll take a photo of a football field that every drone pilot dreams of. First things first, we rented a car. An electric BMW iX1. This is our first challenge. The distances are vast, and the question is, can we travel across Norway in an electric car? Today we need to drive 450 kilometers north. According to the forecast, a storm is raging along our route, but that won't stop us, I hope. On the way we noticed that rivers are unusually full. I didn't expect this. The road ahead is gone. I mean, it's still there, but it's underwater. We tried to bypass it and ended up at the dead end. Now we're stuck. The car battery is almost flat. We found the only Tesla charger, which is about to be flooded. It's impossible to get out, so we decided to spend the night right in the car. We'll keep our things in the tent, and we'll sleep in the trunk. Norway is a fairy tale world. Of course, I knew it would be beautiful, but I didn't expect it to be this stunning. Tall peaks and waterfalls everywhere. My dream is to see Norway's highest waterfall, Waterfallen. We drove to the top of the waterfall, where you can see only the lake. To see the waterfall, we need to do a short 40-minute mountain hike. There are no tourists here at all. I was very surprised. This is the most beautiful and massive waterfall in Europe, and there's no one around. I have a challenging mission here. I want to dive into this waterfall with my FPV drone. I hope it works out. 700 meters of free fall through the stream of water. The height is so great that the water turns into the mist below. The adrenaline level is off the charts. I can't believe I did it.
Yeah!
This location, without tourists and known only to locals, was found thanks to my drone. I will add it to my Norway travel guide. The link will be in the description. If you look at the map, you will see that Norway is sliced with cracks. Those are fjords. Fjords are literally everywhere. These are narrow, deep valleys with rocky shores that formed during the Ice Age as the glaciers melted. Their depth can exceed 1,000 meters, allowing huge cruise ships to navigate them freely. Everyone knows that accommodation prices in Norway are astronomical. To save money, we brought a tent. This was the right decision, allowing us to stay closer to the magical nature. Today, we plan to camp on the shore of one of the most beautiful fjords, Glacier. In the morning, a new plan and a new adventure awaits us. At the campsite, we rented a boat to travel along the fjord to our hiking point. We then faced a challenging 40 minutes uphill climb to the top of the fjord. At the summit, there's an abandoned mountain farm and a view of the famous Seven Sisters waterfall, cascading into the fjord. And of course, my dream is to dive this waterfall with my drone. But it's another difficult flight. I hope it goes well. I was lucky enough to capture ferry in the shot as well. The distance to the waterfall was quite far, and I barely made it back with a nearly dead battery. I cannot believe it, but I did it. On the way to the Glacier fjord, there is another viewpoint. Approaching the edge of the cliff, you cannot really grasp what lies below. It's interesting that only from the side you can see how dangerous this place is. Watching these shots gives me chills. I hope you understand I'm being foolish here and you won't repeat it. Before the trip to Norway, I thought long and hard about which car to rent. Interestingly, the cheapest rentals were electric cars. I was worried about long charging times and the lack of stations along the way, but I took the risk and rented an electric vehicle. In Norway, there are many Tesla stations with fast charging, and they are available on all tourist routes. We had just escaped the flood and found our first charging station, which is why I was so happy. Recently, Tesla superchargers began supporting other car brands, not just Tesla.
So you like electro?
It's
very easy because you have the charging station everywhere. It's perfect with the electric cars.
It's enough, it's no problem.
Most often, there are supermarkets near the charging stations. While we shop for groceries, our car charges in half an hour. Instead of expensive gas, we charge the car for about $15. Additionally, there is a 50% discount for electric cars on ferries and in tunnels. An important part of traveling through Norway is not only the destinations, but also the roads themselves. Norwegian roads are some of the most picturesque in the world, but they're most challenging to build. The fjords and mountains make it impossible to construct long highways, so the road constantly changes. Mounting passes with numerous switch blocks, roads along cliffs, and waterfalls pouring down on you, and sections carved into the rock are common. The speed limit is often 70 km per hour, and it's crucial to adhere to it. For example, speeding by 25 km per hour can result in $1,200 fine. Bridges over fjords typically have very long spans, supported by just 2 piers due to the great depth, making it impossible to construct piers in the water. Therefore, ferries often replace bridges. As we drive, we come across many tunnels, that a big part of the journey is spent underground. We are now approaching the world's longest road tunnel, which stretches 24.5 kilometers. I'll set a timer to see how long it takes us to get through. This tunnel features special zones with blue lighting designed by psychologists to improve concentration when driving in a tunnel, and it worked for me. There is even a roundabout inside this tunnel. The entire passage through the tunnel took us 22 minutes. Continuing our journey, the GPS calmly announced, "Continue straight," just as we see a ferry ahead. Ferries operate so smoothly here that sometimes you don't even notice you're on one. They're frequent and I love them. It is a great chance to take a break from driving, admire the fjord and still keep moving. We often see sign warnings about reindeer, although we didn't spot any on the roads. However, I was lucky enough to capture white reindeer at the top of the waterfall. There are also signs for sheep, but we saw them quite often. They roam the roads in large groups without shepherds. Tana even tried to feed a couple of them with carrots, but they didn't seem to be hungry. The roads can be incredibly narrow, often with just one lane for both directions. This includes bridges and tunnels wide enough for only one car, with passing places allowing vehicles to squeeze by each other. Along the way, you'll find self-service stalls selling local products on the honor system. Take what you want and leave the money. We once met a farmer who ran such a stall, and he confirmed it's a good business despite the high prices. We reached another fjord, Fjord, driving up a winding road with a single lane. At the top, there's an unusual viewing platform resembling a bridge flowing into the fjord. It was crowded with tourists from a cruise ship docked below. I dreamed of flying my FPV drone here without people, so we visited multiple times. And then one morning, I finally managed to film this location without people. We arrived at Trollstigen, the Trolls Road. From the air, this road indeed resembles a staircase for giant trolls. Powerful waterfall splits the road in two sections, with a bridge crossing over it. We drove up and down in search of trolls. The surroundings are fascinating, with breathtaking views and giant troll-like scales. This road feels like an amusement ride, with cars moving up and down like in a roller coaster. My plan is to fly along the waterfall and dive under the bridge. With fog adding to the mystic, driving here is thrilling, but flying along this waterfall is pure magic. Norway is home to the largest glacier on mainland Europe. Our journey takes us up to the glacier. Tonight we will camp on the shores of the glacier lake Lavatnet. Once again, we'll be close to nature, with our tent set up right on the front line, and Norwegian salmon on the grill for dinner. In the morning, we woke up in a fairy tale. Turquoise water, huge cliffs around and small clouds hovering above the lake. At the top, glaciers hidden by the cliffs, with hundreds of waterfalls flowing from them into the lake. From the drone, I spotted the glacier's tongue at the end of the lake, so we drove there to explore. This place is surreal. Norway continues to amaze me more and more each day. Here you can clearly see where the waterfalls originate and why there are so many in Norway. Let's zoom out and look at this scale. Comparing it to Lake Lofoten, you can see how massive the glacier is. I've never dived the glacier tongue before, so let's fix that now. At one point, the cliff blocked my signal and I lost the video feed in my goggles. I thought the drone was crashing. Since I'm shooting with a drone, many of Norway's natural sounds didn't make it into the footage. I solved this problem with sound design, and Epidemic Sound helped me as always. All rights are included, so you can publish your content worry-free, worldwide. With its expansive catalog and next-generation sound tracking tools, Epidemic Sound unlocks magic in everything I create. For example, I use sounds of waterfalls, wind, and even sheep bleating. It's so easy to find any sound you need. In this video, I used a lot of cinematic music to enhance the atmosphere and convey a sense of adventure. You can easily find this kind of music in the cinematic theme section. Click the link in the description to get a free trial. Quickly, I switched the drone to stabilization mode and gave full throttle upwards. By some miracle, I managed to recover it. Miraculously, the signal returned. Later, when reviewing the GoPro footage, I saw that the drone had even hit the glacier. We just witnessed the glacier melting and the enormous amount of water cascading from the peaks. It's interesting that many tourist attractions in Norway are simply roads. However, calling this road just a road is an understatement. We reached the Atlantic Road, which runs across the Atlantic Ocean within a series of islands connected by 8 bridges. This road is considered one of the most beautiful in the world. We woke up at 4 AM and set off in the dark to reach the top of the cliff to greet the sunrise. 2 hours of climbing, still dark outside, but we made it. We're at the summit of Preikestolen. During the day, it's packed with tourists, but in the early morning, before sunrise, I stand alone on this majestic spot. It looks as if someone sliced the rock with a giant knife. It's so flat that it's hard to believe nature created this place. From above, a large crack is visible, running along the entire platform, looking ominous as if the cliff could collapse at any moment. Hopefully, today is not that day. We've filmed everything, now it's time to eat. We'll heat up some water and prepare some freeze-dried hiking food. We brought it in Sweden, and each packet costs about 8 euros. And we'll be eating with this view. Here, you can simply drink water from rivers and streams. And it was hard for me to wrap my mind around the fact that the water is clean and truly safe to drink. During our travel in Norway, we often encountered questions and issues that took a while to resolve. That's why we compiled all our experiences into a comprehensive travel guide to Norway. This guide includes all necessary links, locations, maps, routes, tips on where to book the cheapest car rentals, and the best time to visit. With our guide, your trip to Norway will be as convenient and enjoyable as possible. Our first hike went great, so we decided to make a more challenging one. We are heading to the town of Odda. On the way there were many waterfalls, but I was hunting for unique ones. The first one we encountered was Lofoten. This waterfall flows onto the road and into the fjords. It's raining now, but that won't stop me. Closer to Odda, we found another waterfall with a bridge, Waterfall. The water flows are so strong that you could wash your car under the waterfall spray. We need to fly under the bridge. Hooray! It worked! Next, I wanted to film us driving along the road, next to the waterfall, and I accidentally flew into the trees. I was sure it was the end, but miraculously the drone stabilized and I managed to fly out. The drone is intact, and I'm so happy about that. We've arrived in Odda, a small, cozy town on the fjord. There's another glacier in the nearby mountains, which is why there are so many waterfalls here. Near Odda starts the main hike in Norway, the trail to Trolltunga, Trollstigen. We have a challenging route on the way, 11 kilometers one way. Hiking through these endless trails, I felt myself beginning to reconnect with who I am. Away from the noisy city, my mind slowed down and reset. The constant stream of messages, gloomy news, all the hassle for endless success seemed so distant. All the accumulated stress melted away. We were here and now. Let's take a look what we're carrying in our backpacks. The tent is the most cumbersome item since it has to be carried by hand. I tried attaching it to the backpack, but it's weighed too much, putting a heavy burden on my shoulders. We have 2 inflatable mattresses for the tent. Lots of tech, drones, batteries and some sausages. There's also a raincoat, an FPV drone and another FPV drone in front. 2 water bottles are on the sides. Another bag holds FPV equipment. Tanya has 2 sleeping bags, a white raincoat, a stuffed bear and all food. This hike turned out to be extremely challenging. By the final stage, I couldn't feel my back and Tanya refused to go any further. After 6 hours of trekking, we finally saw Trolltunga, Trollstigen. I was overjoyed. But Tanya was less enthusiastic. It seemed to be held up by magic, and I didn't realize how thin it was. It was very comforting to know that we will be sleeping nearby in our tent. The night in the tent was something else. We were freezing as a strong wind blew all night and the temperature dropped to +2 degrees Celsius. But in the morning, the view quickly filled me with energy. At the summit, I met an amazing guy whose name is Kobe, who had 2-sided tent. He was as crazy about filming as I was, so we quickly became friends. Guess what idea came to my mind? There's nothing else like it in the world. When standing on the tongue, you cannot see how thin it is, so it's not scary. Or maybe the fatigue dulled the fear, making the long hike fog up my mind. I remember this hike as the most thrilling adventure of my life. If you'd asked me, I'd go on this wild hike again in a heartbeat. Amidst Norway's beautiful landscapes, you can often find charming summer cabins, known as hytter. We were fortunate enough to stay in several of these hytters. The first one was a cabin on stilts in a pine forest. We enjoy lighting the fireplace and drinking wine and admiring the view. It was very cozy. We loved it. Next, we stayed in a fairy-like tree house on its own island. There was no civilization or people around, just our house, our island, our lake. In the morning, we woke up to a thick fog. It felt like we were living in a storybook. Another cabin was quite modern, with a view of the fjord. The highlight here was the hot jacuzzi. In these cabins, you often have no neighbors, just you and nature. A complete reset. Our journey then took us to the heart of the Norway, the Lofoten Islands. The islands are so far above the Arctic Circle that it's easier and cheaper to fly here. We returned to Oslo, returned the rental car, and flew from Oslo to Bodø. From there, we rented a new electric car and took a ferry to the islands. Finally, we arrived. Welcome to the Lofoten Islands. This time, we got an electric car from the Chinese brand BYD. Interestingly, I found this car more convenient and comfortable than the BMW iX1. On the Lofoten Islands, there is one main road, the E10 highway, which connects all the islands with bridges and underwater tunnels. Driving here is pure magic, as the road constantly runs along the ocean with unreal views all around. The islands consist of small fishing villages. The furthest village has the shortest name. The hallmark of Lofoten are these red fishing cabins, known as rollbrett. They are everywhere, but the most beautiful one stand on stilts over the water. Moving on, we arrived at one of the most famous villages, Reine. Here you can find two iconic views of Lofoten. The first is the famous view of the Hamnøy Bridge. The ocean, red cabins, and cliffs in the background, a scene I've often seen on Instagram. The second view requires more effort. We had to climb 1,566 steps. After about an hour, we reached the top, revealing the second Instagram-worthy view of the village Rein from above. Interestingly, most of the Lofoten consists of high cliffs with only small, low islands hosting the villages. Next, we headed to my dream destination, the village of Henningsgren. Here lies the most famous football field among drone pilots. Every pilot dreams of photographing this field, and so did I. Now I've made that dream come true, and I have my own photo. The field is surrounded by fish drying racks, a reminder that we're in Lofoten, where fishing is a paramount, although it's not the season and there's no fish now. Lofoten also hosts incredibly beautiful beaches. Few people swim here as water is very icy, but it all looks very enticing. Traveling by car through Norway is simply a dream come true. Norway is everything people say it is. It's just incredible. And the views are mesmerizing. I cannot believe we did it. We traveled for a month and saw Norway's most famous sights. Dream, and may your dreams come true.